Totally agree with the CS that at the moment it's not tenable to fund the education, and it has not started today. You know, the CS himself has said, and he has given the figures, that for the past 6 years, the government has not been releasing the required capitation to schools. He gives a figure of 16,000 per head of the learners which has been there. So he has just come out to be so truthful to tell Kenyans that, look, this is what has been happening, and the fact is we cannot afford.
So we have been lying to ourselves.
Yeah, we have been lying.
We cannot afford this.
We cannot afford this. And when my friend says that at the moment, when he says that the reduction of capitation, it's the negligence of the government. Sometimes we ourselves, we have to blame. Just recently, we went on the streets. We demanded that no more taxation. And the impact, why we are having this high taxation, Fred, we understand that Kenya is crippling with the high debts. And most of this taxation that we are getting is going towards repayment of the interest of the debts that the previous regime has took part of it, and which is being taken now. So if we are paying debts, we are remaining with so little towards development. And we ourselves as Kenyans, we are also demanding development from the government. You hear the conversation, and I'm here before this show ends. My friend Ken will question Rob to tell what projects this government is doing. So we are demanding projects from the government, but we're also demanding the government to undertake the recurrent expenditures, which includes education. We are also telling the government, work around your budget. So if we want all this to happen, the government clearly, even when the CS was reading the budget, he gave out a very little deficit which was there, and he said we have reached at this little deficit because we are working around reducing the expenditure of the government. And we find that some of these effects have landed in the Ministry of Education. Yes, I agree that there has to be, they can harmonize this budget to look into other areas which is not a priority, so that they can cushion the education sector to ensure that they get the education sector sufficient funds. You know, on the other hand, Fred, when we look at this issue of issuing bursaries, even the bursary itself is not in the budget. There is no fund which is called the bursary funds. But these leaders, what they do, they take the funds they are giving and they allocate it. That's why we are saying that, yes, let them abolish this issue of CDF, let them abolish this issue to do with the GAF, or reduce it, so that they can consolidate.
And they are opting to cut or do away with free primary education, or subsidizing free education, secondary education, instead of what you're suggesting, that consolidate the funds.
Okay, as we support, sometimes we support the sentiments. You know, we are supporting the sentiments of the CS for having told Kenyans the truth. But we are also against now this issue of abolishing, as you say, the subsidized secondary education and the areas around to do with the examinations. Because we understand that previously, someone would have just missed out of getting the quality education for lacking fee or lacking the examination fee only. So what we request is that let them reduce this funding towards the CDF. Instead of giving a member of parliament 100 million, let them give them 50 million for other things, and try to take some extra cash to the education to ensure that the education is not crippled. Because we understand that, Fred, there are key sectors in this country, that is the health sector and education. These are very delicate sectors which have to be protected by all means.
Yes, and curiously, it's those two sectors that where the president is receiving a lot of criticism in. The reforms in the health sector, the reforms in the education sector. You mentioned about the budget come 2003 when we first had free